So, yes, I am Miss Murphy. I am your student's fourth grade teacher at Bowles. It's my second year here. I'm from Springfield. I really like teaching students in Springfield, and I really enjoy teaching them reading. We are going to go on a quick little classroom tour. Not going to be too amazing. I'm going to be carrying my laptop around, so you'll get to see what your student sees every day. So just so you can see, here are their desks. They're in an interesting kind of U shape. We have a little row in the middle. Sorry if it is tough to see, but we have it separated like this due to COVID protocols, trying to keep students 3 feet apart, 6 feet when we can. We have a few walls along the, we have a few walls that are dedicated to reading, some things for social emotional learning to try to help students with empathy. We have a math wall that focuses on addition, subtraction, multiplication, and an iReady progress board the students enjoy. They kind of just put a sticker if they pass a lesson. And we have someone else popping in. But yes, we have a little Take 5 spot. Take 5 is something new this year. Students will come over to this chair if they're feeling overwhelmed, sad, angry, and they feel like they need to take 5 minutes to take a break. We have another little word wall which students add to whenever they do not know a word. We have a little small group table where students meet to get some help with reading or math, a library, and just lots of books all around. So that's pretty much our classroom. And we'll pause in just a moment if anyone has any questions about anything in our class. So any questions about anything especially related to COVID? Just want to make sure everything's clear.
Everything's
good. Perfect. I know it's very different this year than it usually would be, where you can kind of just look around instead of someone carrying you around. So any questions, just let me know. And I also wanted to mention conferences. I had a few families sign up for conferences. I'm hoping to meet with all families this year. Conferences will be online, either a phone call or through Zoom, whichever you prefer. And all we really do during conference is, I'll just tell you how your student's doing. We make a plan to try to help them improve. So I am going to just drop a link into the chat. And you can click on that link. And it will provide you with the opportunity to go to a little spreadsheet where you can put in information. You can choose a day, choose a time when you'd like to meet, and just type in if you want a phone call or Zoom. And if those days and times don't work, if there's something that works better, you can just send me a message later on Dojo or in the chat. And did everyone get the link? Just checking. Got the link, perfect, thank you. Yes, and don't have to do it right now, but just wanted to make sure everybody has it. So all you would do is it opens up a spreadsheet. You would just type in your student's name, if you want a phone call or Zoom, in one of those time slots, and choose a day within the next 3 weeks or so. Perfect. And we'll move right along. We do have a few videos from the other staff at the school, which we'll go through. I know that you guys probably just want to get through them. So we're just going to focus on the ones that matter to our class. We're not going to sit through all of them. So I will pop over to that link and we will check out a few videos, starting with one from Mr. Doty, our principal. And here it is. And I'm going to make sure you guys can hear him. There we go.
Good afternoon, Bowles families and guests, and welcome to our electronic version of Open House. As you know, our preference would have been to open the doors of the school, but during these unprecedented times of the pandemic, it is still necessary at this juncture for our open house to be done electronically. Having said that, we believe we have an exciting opportunity for you to learn a lot about what's happening with your child in school. I recognize that many of you were very, very involved last year, and essentially we were your guests. You invited us into your home, and that's where the learning took place. The classrooms was basically in your home, and our teachers went via electronically to you during remote instruction. We want to thank you for that and for all of the support that you provided your children through the course of the online and concurrent learning. We could not have done it without you, and we owe you a great deal of gratitude, and for that, we sincerely thank you. This evening, our teachers each have a slideshow presentation that they'll be going through with you. They're going to be talking about a lot of the new curriculums that we're going to be implementing and have started implementing. We launched a number of different curriculum programs just prior to going to remote. And so we weren't able to fully implement them in the way that they were intended. And so really, in many ways, we're finally being able to take some very dynamic new curriculums that are designed to accelerate learning, and we're able to provide them to the students in the intended way that the program developers had created them. And our hope is that we're going to see wonderful academic achievement, accelerated learning. We really are pushing students in a very, very positive and encouraging way as we try to help them navigate and fill in some of the learning loss that happened as a result of the remote learning that took place. And we're doing it in a way that's realistic, it's very doable for the students, but we also want to challenge them, and we need your support. We are giving extension activities in the form of homework. We would really appreciate it if you would encourage your child to continue to, engage in the home like they did last year, but these aren't long assignments. Most of our homework is usually wrapped up in about 20 minutes. So we would encourage you to ask your child when they come home, do you have homework? And encourage them to complete that. That will really help with us getting the kids caught up. Also, I just wanted to share that we've been working very hard to try and reduce the spread of the virus. We do have our students spread out. Our nurse will be sharing some information with you as well in terms of the measures that we are taking in order to stop the spread. And so we also encourage, if children are over the age of 12, we would encourage folks to consider vaccination. I understand that's a family decision, but the district would like to message that we would encourage, if a family wants to get their child vaccinated, to do that. And again, the nurse will speak more about that as the presentation continues. There's going to be a few more of these videos, so I'm going to cut my presentation off at this juncture because we have our technology teacher, our art teacher, our gym teacher, our counselors and City Connects folks that also are going to want to share the work that they're doing in order to support your child through the learning process. And so I just want to reiterate all of the appreciation as the principal that I have for all the parents. If you do have a problem or your child is having a problem, please reach out to me. The sooner the better. A lot of times what happens is by the time I learn of a problem, it's already escalated and gotten to be a larger problem to solve. And so if you could include me early on, I'm more than happy to work with everybody. I also am just going to ask that everyone be cooperative, be open-minded, and understand that sometimes how children behave at home is differently than how they behave here at school. And so what I do when there are problems is I try to gather the information, share it with the parents in an honest and sincere way. And I don't want any parent to, view the information that I share as anything other than a sharing process. I am the individual when it comes to issues as it relates to behavior who needs to be the most impartial. And in the event that something were to arise that warranted some level of discipline. And so I maintain objectivity. And I would ask that the parents do as well. I understand your children are the most valuable thing that you have. And sometimes it's difficult not to be emotional, but we're trying to maintain our objectivity and sort it out. A lot of times you're not there, I'm not there. The teacher may not have seen and only the kids know. There are times where that happens. Teacher turns their back to write something on the board. And so I just am going to ask that you include me very early. If you have a concern, I'm out in front of the school every day, and we will do our best to nip things in the bud. Remember, I want students focused on the academics, not the social dynamics that's a distractor or making them feel uncomfortable. So we want to eliminate any of those types of unpleasantries early on. So here we are. We're going to launch things off. Enjoy your time. This is just one last message. This is not a parent-teacher conference. If you do want to set something up with your teacher, you can do that today. But this is not going to be a time where the teachers are going to go into any depth in regard to your particular student for privacy reasons, because this is an open forum. Well, thank you so much for your attention to this announcement, and have a wonderful, wonderful time during today's open house. Thank you.
And thank you everyone for your attention during that opening message. I do see that we have a few more people who joined. If you can just make sure that you turn on your camera and make sure your name lets me know who you are or who your student is, that would be great. We're now going to listen to a short message from the technology teacher.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr. D. I'm the technology teacher here at Bowles Elementary, and we want to welcome you all to our virtual open house. We are so excited to have you be part of this wonderful event. I want to quickly introduce myself and quickly talk about our curriculum, technology curriculum. The district had invested a lot of time, money, and resources in the integration of technology throughout the school and in our curriculum. In technology class, we really focus on the whole concept of digital citizenship, being safe consumers of technology, and understanding how using technology affects not just us, our communities, and the world, and how to stay safe. We also focus on collaboration, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills, and creativity. And these are all skills that will serve them well in every subject matter throughout their educational career. So if any of you have any questions about our curriculum or any questions in general, feel free to reach out to me. My email is deburbana@springfieldpublicschools.com. And I look forward to seeing you in open house. Bye-bye.
And of course, if you ever have any questions for any of these teachers, I can send you their email because they're just going to be saying it out loud. Here is a message from the gym teacher.
Good evening, Bowles family, and welcome to Open House. My name is Mr. Wise. I'm the PE teacher. Welcome to my gym. I have 3 important things I'd like to share with you that I share with my students. 1, I try to make sure that everyone stays active. 2, I want to make sure everyone stays safe while doing so. And number 3, and the most important thing, have fun. And with that said, thank you very much. I look forward to speaking with you, and have a wonderful evening.
Hello, parents. Welcome to the Bowles.
And we are going to skip ahead a little bit just to make sure, because there's some people who are involved with our class, some people who aren't. So we're going to just keep it moving along.
Hey, everybody.
Good afternoon, Bowles families. Welcome to Bowles School Open House 2021. My name is Mrs. Moylan, and I am the school counselor at Bowles School. My job in the school is to support all students. Some of my other responsibilities include teaching daily lessons in the classroom with our Second Step program, small and individual group counseling. I also coordinate the attendance incentive program. I welcome you to reach out to me for support related to your student needs. I hope you have a great evening at our Bowles School Open House 2021. Thank you very much.
So this is Miss Moylan. She is involved with the Second Step program, which teaches students how to manage their emotions. So if you ever have any questions about how your student is doing emotionally, or if you'd like her to check in with your child, please let me know and I can get you in contact with her.
Hello, parents and students. My name is Tanya Cabrera. I am the City Connects coordinator here at Bowles Elementary. I just want to formally introduce myself and wish every student a great year. Bye.
Hello, Bowles families. My name is Mr. Murray. I'm an ESL teacher for grades 3, 4, and 5. And it's so nice to have you here tonight for our open house. This is my 11th year of teaching English to speakers of other languages. And after last year, which was my first year at Bowles, I'm so excited to hit the ground running and get back into the learning with students whom I now know. And there's a lot to do, of course. Primarily, my job is to help your children develop their English reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills. However, we do some other things also. For example, we work on grammar, we work on vocabulary, and we work on spelling, all areas which kids need a lot of practice in. In addition, part of my job is to help your child learn how to be a good student, how to focus in class, how to choose their moments in terms of speaking to other students and not speaking to other students, answering questions appropriately, that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm so glad to have your kids in my class, and I'm available through Class Dojo, as you all know. Please, please, please feel free to reach out to me regarding anything that you need or any questions that you might have. And enjoy your night in this open house. Okay, thanks. Take care. Bye.
And so just to make it clear, Mr. Murray works closely with a few students in our class who know more than one language. So he's with us every single day, and he will help support them, especially with their reading and writing skills.
Hello, I'm Ms. Upperton, the art teacher. While the students are with me in art class this year, they'll get the opportunity to explore different types of art medium, including clay, printmaking, collage, various types of painting, weaving, sculpting. With each art lesson, I include a art history component talking about the period in art and an artist. My hope for each student in my art class is to have a sense of creativity and self-expression and come away with an appreciation of art. Please contact me through Class Dojo or email if you have any questions. Thank you.
Good evening. Welcome to Samuel Bowles School, to students and their families on Open House. I am Mary Ellen. I am Nurse Palazzi, the school nurse, and I welcome all of your students. I'm meeting them all and taking care of them the best way I know how. And during this pandemic, we are still continuing the use of the mask. If you are able to, please provide a second backup mask in their backpacks. But we would ask that they continue to wear them during school and to wear them properly, even on traveling to and from on the buses. If your child is sick or has had a recent positive test or exposure to somebody with COVID, we ask that you keep them at home. They would require sometimes a test to re-enter the school. We are doing the pool testing here, which has already started. If you have consented to that, you are all set. But if anybody has not consented for their student to be tested in the pool testing to help decrease the incident of COVID in the schools, you can just do that by coming into the school or requesting a consent to go home. It has to be a written consent. It cannot be taken over the phone. I look forward to working with all of the children. Any questions or concerns, you can call the school number. I'm extension 3, or just leave a message at the front office. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
And just to repeat a few of the main points from the nurse's video, just making sure that students do arrive to school with a mask on. We do recommend that extra masks are packed for students. We do have extras at school, but it does help if they have their own extras. And we did pass out those papers that you could sign to consent to your student being tested for COVID. If you at any point change your mind and decide, oh, actually now I do want my student to get tested at school, you can always let us know and we can provide you with a new form so we can have it in writing. And of course, if you have any questions for the nurse, you can ask me to get in contact with her, or you can dial the school number and reach her at extension 3. So at this time, we're going to pause with all those introductions, just checking if anyone has any questions about what we've done so far. Any questions? Okay, thank you. So we're going to move right along. And we are going to be talking about this new portrait of a graduate plan that is in Springfield. This is a brand new plan, and it is to ensure that students eventually graduate from high school to pursue a career. And this is just the last slide in Spanish. So this is one of the main slides we're going to focus on. You're probably wondering, what is Springfield's portrait of a graduate? It is a community created vision of what every student in Springfield in the public schools should be able to know and should be able to do by the time they graduate high school, so they are prepared for a career. So it's all about focusing on making sure students know what they need by the time they graduate. So we're going to just go through these slides as well. This plan was created by more than 2,000 members in the community, from students, parents, teachers, to administrators, and other community leaders. People were able to participate by focusing on the hopes and dreams for their children, and what knowledge and skills they felt children in Springfield really needed to know to make those hopes and dreams a reality. And hi, Mr. Murray.
Hey, Ms. Murphy, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Hello, everyone.
And yes, Mr. Murray is the ESL teacher who works closely with a few of our students. And I believe Miss Moylan is also joining. If you have anything you'd like to share, Mr. Murray.
Just a warm hello to everyone. I think you may have seen my video already. If any of you have questions for me, you can please put it in the chat. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And hi, Miss Moylan as well, Mrs. Moylan.
Hello.
And yes, Mrs. Moylan is our counselor at our school. And if you have any questions for them, feel free to stop us at any time or send them a message in the chat.
Yeah, definitely. You may have seen my video, but I have the pleasure of meeting with the kids every week doing our second step programs. So it's kind of fun meeting them and understanding their perspective on lots of different things like problem solving, empathy, and handling distractions to get your work done. So thank you.
And thank you for being here. We were just talking about the portrait of a graduate, how it's really tied into envisioning what students in Springfield should know by the time they graduate. So in the portrait of a graduate, we focus on 6 important parts or themes. So we first start by focusing on what students should learn. Students need to have academic knowledge. They need to understand the world, form their own opinions, and be able to solve problems. They also need to be able to communicate, to listen to others, and share their ideas while being respectful, open, and clear. Students need to be able to persist and navigate the world using empathy and being a respectful adult. They also need to thrive. Students need to practice resilience, self-awareness, and advocacy to navigate challenges and new situations. Students need to lead. Students will be able to lead with confidence, empathy, and kindness in their family, their community, in Springfield and beyond. And students need to be able to do work, to identify and pursue career pathways that they really enjoy, a future that they can really imagine for themselves and work towards, a good goal. And here is this slide in Spanish. So it really just focuses on the big key ideas, making sure that students will have the skills that they need in order to succeed and pursue a great career that will fulfill them. And this is just another way to view it, ideally the same. And we're working to make sure that every student will be able to achieve this goal of having all of these amazing skills by the time they graduate from high school. So we have been working together to create a great plan that reimagines a lot of activities, experiences, and systems within our school, within all the schools in Springfield. And we're really prioritizing equity, making sure that each student is being provided with what they need. We're really challenging the imbalance of power and privilege. And we're working on empowering all students so they have the knowledge, skills, and mindsets that are within the portrait of a graduate. So we're putting this all in place so that by the time students even go to the next grade, they're just packing on all of these skills to prepare them for when they reach high school and when they graduate. And if you are interested at all in helping with our next strategic plan, in sharing your thoughts on how your child is doing, what you think they'll be excited to learn about, one thing that you might think is even that Bowles can work on to make things better for your child, how your student learns. And if we focus on these 4 questions here, yes, mostly focusing on what can make your student excited about learning, what might make it harder for your student to be excited to learn, one thing that your child's school is actually doing well, and one thing that you think could change with Bowles. How can Bowles become better to make your student learn more or become more excited about learning? So I will be putting this link in the chat, which is why it stopped sharing. If you would like to visit that website, feel free. I will put both in the chat. If you're interested in learning more about Portrait of a Graduate or in answering some questions to contribute to it. And yes, I see we have a question.
Hi, yeah, I have a question. I know back then when we grew up in school, the kids used to get like a lot of spelling tests, and I haven't really seen much this year. And I know that they actually help with like spelling bigger words as they get older. And I'm just curious, like, are they going to be getting those anytime soon?
That is a great question. So that is a great point. We have been doing a lot of practice with spelling in our small groups. We are going to talk about what we do for reading instruction, and reading instruction has really changed this year, which is why we've moved away from spelling tests, because we've found that they kind of stress students out sometimes. At least in the whole group, we have moved away from spelling tests and instead focus on memorization sometimes, such as those flashcards, and working together as a group to spell instead of putting the pressure on the individual child.
Okay.
And yes, any other questions at this time? But yes, so we've mainly moved from spelling tests and made it so students will work together to support each other in spelling, because a lot of it built up a lot of anxiety with students spelling on their own. And it's been more beneficial to have students support one another and learn from each other. And yes, so those links are in the chat if you would like to contribute to the next plan for the Portrait of a Graduate. At this time, are there any questions about Portrait of a Graduate? Just checking. All right, so we are going to move right along, and thank you very much for listening to that little presentation. And yes, we will be moving on to the next part shortly. I know Mr. D, the technology teacher, is stopping by. Hi, Mr. D. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Do you have anything you'd like to share?
Did you get to the video portions yet?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I pretty much said everything, through that short little introductory video. I do want to say that I am very proud of every single one of your kids. They are doing presentations for me, and they are doing, they are blowing me away. Like, it's really like they're doing PowerPoint, so they're learning PowerPoint, and they're doing such a great job. So I do push them because I want to prepare them for middle school and high school, but they're doing such a great job. They have gotten so great. In fact, some of them are actually helping our older teachers with some technology issues. So that makes me so very proud. So the one thing I do want to quickly say is, that we have a uptake in computers being broken, average of maybe 30, 40 computers a week. Clearly, what's most important to me is the students and making sure they have the resources that they need. Computers could be replaced, but it's their safety and making sure that they have what they need. So if you just kind of remind them to make sure they bring their computers, like I tell kids, you get dressed in the morning, you wouldn't come to at school without clothes or shoes. Bring your computer with you, and that's part of your dress code. So I could just use your support in making sure that they have all their resources with them when they come into school. So.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
We're going to continue with our presentation. So this is another way of communicating assignments and grades through the parent portal. So if you're ever wondering how your student is doing in class, you can always sign into PowerSchool to find out. Grades are put into PowerSchool regularly, so you can always check in. Is my student doing their homework? How'd they do in that quiz? You can always check the parent portal in PowerSchool. And this was very early on in the year when students were sent home with the piece of paper that had your login information. If you're interested at this time, does anyone need that information? Because I can get it to you at a later point. Does anyone need their username and password to access the parent portal? You can just put your hand up. All right, thank you. I'll make a note of that and I can get that to you shortly. Anyone else need their login information for the parent portal? All right. I know we were given a lot of papers that first week of school, so anyone needs that, please let me know. And it is just a good way of constantly being in the know about how your student is doing. So all of that can be found in the parent portal in PowerSchool. And I also do want to talk about our curriculum and instruction, what your student, your scholar, is learning in class. So we're going to start by talking about math. At Bowles, in all Springfield schools, we use iReady Classroom Mathematics. And we're going to take a dive into what iReady Mathematics is like by watching a few videos and checking out a few documents. So iReady Mathematics uses a try, discuss, connect routine to help students work with partners, to help them participate in discussions and really deepen their understanding of math and empowering them to become independent learners. So we're going to check out a few videos and a few documents to understand iReady Math and see how it works in the classroom setting. And just checking, can everyone see the video? It's just a white screen right now. Just making sure. Perfect, thank you for those thumbs up.
When students do the thinking and the talking, they process ideas better, leading to greater understanding. iReady Classroom Mathematics employs the Try, Discuss, Connect instructional routine to foster meaningful discourse about math. First, students make sense of the problem by reading the problem aloud and unpacking the problem. Next, students work independently to solve the problem using whatever strategies and tools they choose. Then it's time to discuss with the partner how they approach the problem. The teacher observes and prompts students to support their thinking. Now the teacher asks students to share out their strategies to the class. The teacher selects and sequences student responses strategically to help students progressively build understanding. Students justify their answers and critique the reasoning of others, allowing for a seamless way to develop the mathematical practices in every lesson, every day. Finally, the class compares their strategies to the examples in the book. By connecting and reflecting on the multiple ways to solve the problem, students cement their own conceptual understanding of the math and can apply those skills to a new problem. Try, Discuss, Connect, a simple yet powerful way to deepen conceptual understanding and increase student achievement.
So that is a very quick rundown of iReady Mathematics. Does anyone have any questions about iReady at this time? All right, we will keep on moving forward. So this is just a short little, basically a little document put together to kind of give a rundown of iReady just in another form. I will be sending it along in the chat shortly, but it pretty much just discusses what is in the video and also takes a deeper dive into what your students see, both in their book and online, because we do use iReady lessons on the computer to help students in areas where they might be struggling or where they have struggled in the past. And we also have some extra family resources, which will show you how to check in on how your student is doing and to be able to access their book online if you ever would like to see what your student sees during class. So I will be sending those along in the chat. And then we will move along to our reading curriculum, which has undergone numerous changes, especially this year. So that is the first document, and this is the other document with additional family resources. All right, we're going to hop over to C, reading. And I'm going to make sure everyone can see what I see. Just checking while we are here, any math questions? Doesn't have to be iReady, but any math questions at all at this time? Okay. So we will take a look at reading. So our reading curriculum this year, it's very big. There are many parts to this curriculum. It is very new as well. It's our first year using MyView Savas. And it's a really great curriculum, as you can see, has many, many parts, many areas where we can work to support students at multiple levels. And this is what we use with the whole class. And we have something called a student interactive. This is the student's textbook over here on the left. We also have some trade books that students can use when they do independent reading or reading as a group. We do have access to this program online for students to use. And those are the main things that students have access to. All of these other things over here are mainly for teachers and their materials that we use to support students at different levels. So I know there was a lot of information there, but any questions about math or reading before we break into anything else? Okay, and thank you everyone for your attention. I know that there's a lot of information here. So we're going to talk about intervention, meeting the needs of all learners. And this is something that we've dedicated a lot of time to. This year, a big portion of our schedule is dedicated to small group learning, where we can support students who are at a similar level. There are a few intervention teachers, such as Julie Dakota, Victoria Hesse, Julianne Zaguro, and Erin Pease. Miss Pease is the only interventionist students in our class see. Otherwise, they see me for intervention. So me and Miss Pease work with the students in our class. So for intervention, we have a lot of daily objectives, goals that we hope students can meet. We really focus on making sure that students can decode and read words using some very important sound and word patterns. We really try to have students read independently so that they can reach a good level of accuracy. We also do a lot of spelling. We do spelling every single day when it comes to a program called SIPS, which I will talk more about shortly. We also work with a lot of sight words that students have been practicing on flashcards. We also have students practice writing sentences that we say aloud, so that helps with spelling. And then students have independent reading time, about 20 minutes a day, where they read and then they reflect on what they've read for about 5 minutes. So we're going to be talking about SIPS. SIPS is new for most of our students this year. SIPS is an amazing reading program that most of the students in our class are involved with. SIPS is an intervention program. It helps students who have been struggling with reading, and it helps them progress gradually, usually at a pretty fast pace to help them reach grade level. So for grade 4, one of the beginning levels is the extension level. So students at this level, we mostly focus on trying to help them understand vowel pairs, R-controlled vowels. There's lots of sight words that they've seen for numerous years. We give them some easy to read trade books to help them try to build some fluency. Once students progress through the extension level, they will end up in the challenge level. In the challenge level, it's more challenging, and it is the last level of SIPS. And it is mostly used in grades 4 through 12 to try to bring students up to the grade level. And we have a significant portion of students in our class who are at this level. And at this time, does anyone have any questions about SIPS, either extension or challenge? Okay. So yeah, students just progress right along. For grade 4, start at extension, go along to challenge. Once students are able to continue through the SIPS lessons, there is a sequence and there are tests that we take weekly to determine where they are. Once they get through all of the lessons with their intervention teacher, they are able to join our grade level group, which is part of the MyView Savas reading curriculum. And we are going to talk about social emotional learning. We have made a big push for social emotional learning this year, considering the difficulties that many people have faced during the past few years, especially considering COVID. Transitioning back into the classroom was a big change for many students. So we're really focusing on creating a safe and supportive environment. So we are going to watch a quick little video about social emotional learning, also known as SEL, and why SEL matters. So I'm going to switch over to that video. And SEL lessons are provided to students every week and the person that directs them is Mrs. Moylan, our counselor. So she stops by our classroom and teaches students using a social emotional learning lesson.
There's a lot of talk these days about SEL, social emotional learning. But what exactly is it? Social emotional learning is the process of learning social and emotional skills, and it's just as important as learning reading or math. This learning process is most effective when it begins early and continues through high school. Social emotional skills are essential for success in school, work, and life. With SEL, students learn to manage their own emotions and behaviors, have empathy and show care and concern for others, solve problems effectively, make responsible decisions, and maintain healthy relationships. Students learn to recognize what's happening inside them and to be aware of their emotions, which helps them deal with strong emotions and impulsive behaviors. It helps them stop, take a breath, and think about a situation before acting. Students learn to identify others' emotions and perspectives, which helps them empathize and show compassion, no matter who they are or what their background is. It's not difficult to imagine how this is important in the classroom and in life. Students learn to solve problems in peaceful ways and communicate assertively about what they need or want. This helps them get along with other students and get the help they need from adults. When students learn to make responsible decisions about their lives and their future, things can turn out better. Research shows social emotional learning makes a difference. Students who participate in SEL do better academically, have improved attitudes and behaviors, and act in delinquent or disruptive ways less often. In the United States, students with strong social-emotional competence are twice as likely to earn a college degree and nearly 50% more likely to graduate from high school and have a full-time job by age 25. Just as important, students who are socially and emotionally competent have more friends. This means they're more likely to feel connected to school and do well, and less likely to be left out or bullied. Simply put, by participating in social-emotional learning, students learn the skills to succeed in every facet of school and the rest of their lives.
So that was a short video on social emotional learning. And this is something that we incorporate not only during the second step lessons with Mrs. Moylan. This is something that we incorporate in all lessons to make sure students are doing well emotionally and they have the skills to calm down and make good decisions. It's going to switch back over to that PowerPoint. Yes, this just focuses on a growth mindset, making sure students are believing in themselves instead of giving up. And just a few expectations for fourth grade this year. We've all been working really hard to make this a really good school year. And we understand that the fall is still going to be challenging for some families. So if at any point you or your family is overwhelmed, please reach out to us right away. You can reach out to me. You can also try to get in contact with Mrs. Moylan. One important thing for this school year is we really want to make sure that students are attending school. If a student is healthy, we hope to see them in class. We really want to make sure that students are getting their needs met, and that's very challenging to do if students are absent regularly. We understand if there's doctor's appointments or sickness, but we really want students to be here as often as possible, as often as can happen. So students are expected to follow our schedule, participate in class, treat others with respect, complete schoolwork, and turn in assignments like homework. And at our school, these are just some basic expectations that we have, making sure that students are listening attentively, showing kindness for others, being patient with others. With masks, with COVID, we want to make sure students have their masks on, washing hands carefully, not hanging out in the bathrooms. And with social emotional learning, we really focus on the Take 5 break spot in our classroom if a student ever feels overwhelmed. And these posters are from Second Step. They focus on how students can calm down, show empathy. And we have a PBIS calendar here. And I will continue momentarily. So we're going to wrap up in just a moment here. So this is all just about calming down. We have our Take 5 station. This is another classrooms, but that is what a Take 5 spot looks like. Just a reminder that I use Class Dojo all the time. It's the main way that I communicate. There's always information about homework, tests, events, and more. If you're not in Class Dojo yet, please join. I will send you another invite. Just a reminder that Mrs. Moylan is our school counselor and Ms. Cabrera is our City Connects coordinator at this school. And I can always send you their information at another time. Just going to quickly go through uniform dress code. Just a reminder that students' pants should be either navy blue or tan. Students should have a light blue, navy, or white shirt. Our schedule each day, we start with a morning meeting. Science or social studies follows that. We have reading small groups, then reading and writing. From 12:15 to 1 o'clock, we have lunch and recess. After that, we have math and small groups, followed by specials and usually a little closing as we head out for dismissal. And with attendance, we really want to make sure that students are here whenever possible. If your student is going to be absent, please call the school or let me know, because we don't want it to be an unexcused absence. We do want to know the reason, because there's a big difference between an unexcused absence and an unexcused and an excused absence. This year with grading, most of our grading will focus on big tests and projects and assessments that students do throughout the week. About 20% will involve participation, classwork, and homework. And homework expectations, we give out homework in 4th grade almost every night. Should only be taking your student about 15 to 20 minutes. If it takes longer, we don't want to stress them out, so they can pause, write us a little note on it that it was stressing them out and it was taking them longer than expected. And with laptops, if a laptop breaks or has an issue, we ask that you call the IT number. The IT number is in our Class Dojo, and it is here as well. I can always send it to you at another time if there's a laptop issue. And with COVID, just make sure your student brings a mask to school. We do have an after school, wow, that was a lot of words together. An after school program coming up. If you are interested, you can contact the Bowles office. And just ending with my contact information here, my phone number, my email, and of course, Class Dojo is a great way to contact me. And I know that we kind of flew through the ending there, but if there's any questions, please let me know. And thank you all for being here and for listening. I can see how it can be really good to kind of know how your students doing, what they're doing in class with all these new programs. It can be pretty overwhelming. So thank you very much for attending our open house today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You too. Bye. Thank you everyone for being here for our open house.
Bye.
Have a great night. Thank you very much. Bye.